Good morning, dear students. Let us continue with the norma frontalis. We discussed about the norma verticalis and norma frontalis in my previous class. Okay. Now let us see the part which is left off in the norma frontalis is this region. This is known as the nasal region. Okay, or you can say anterior nasal aperture or the opening. So this area, it lies between the two orbits, right? So we see here right and left nasal bones, they are lying just above the nasal aperture. So two nasal bones lying just above the nasal aperture. So there is a midline suture in between the two nasal bones. This is known as the internasal suture. Okay, this suture is known as internasal suture. Now below the glabella, the frontal bone and the two nasal bones, they articulate at the frontonasal suture. So this is frontonasal suture. So below the glabella, the two bones, the frontal bone and nasal bone, they articulate by means of frontonasal suture. So junction of frontonasal and internasal suture is known as the nasion. Okay, this part is known as the nasion. So junction between the internasal suture and frontonasal suture is known as nasion. So a little below the orbital margin, the anterior surface of the maxilla, it shows, I have already told you that this is infraorbital foramen. So infraorbital vessels and the nerves pass through it. Then we have on the lateral surface of the zygomatic bone, we have zygomaticofacial foramen. Okay, so this is about the nasal region. So anterior bony aperture of the nose, also known as a pyriform aperture. So it is a prominent feature of the mid face. The shape of the anterior nasal aperture, it is pear shaped, wide below and narrow above. Okay, what are the boundaries of anterior nasal aperture? Above it is bounded by lower border of the nasal bones. This is the lower border of the nasal bones. Below it is bounded by nasal notch of the body of the maxilla on each side. So these are the nasal notches. So inferiorly, the anterior bony aperture, it is bounded by nasal notches of the body of the maxilla, superiorly by lower border of the nasal bones. Coming to the articulations, nasal bone articulate anteriorly by opposite bones at internasal suture. So one nasal bone articulates with the other at the internasal suture. Posteriorly, the one nasal bone articulate with the frontal process of the maxilla. So this is actually the frontal process of the maxilla. So anteriorly articulate with each other, posteriorly with frontal process of maxilla. Superiorly with the frontal bone at frontonasal suture, and inferiorly articulate with the upper nasal cartilage. So then we have anterior nasal spine. As you can see, this is anterior nasal spine, exactly this region. We can make out in the real skull this anterior nasal spine. It is a sharp bony projection at the lower boundary of the anterior nasal aperture. The renion, like nasion, we have renion. It is a lowermost point of the internasal suture. So this area is nasion and lowermost point of the internasal suture is known as renion. So basically what you have to remember here, there are two bones. One is the vomer and ethmoid bone, you can see inside the anterior nasal apertures. And there are bones in the lateral wall of the nose, which is known as the inferior concha, we can make out. Okay, so this is about the boundaries and articulations of the anterior nasal aperture. So with this we have finished the norma frontalis. Now let us discuss about the norma basalis. Let us discuss about norma basalis, also known as inferior view of the skull. So for descriptive purpose, we divided the norma basalis into three parts by two imaginary lines. One imaginary line is passing from the anterior border of the foramen magnum, okay, and the other imaginary line, it is passing from the posterior border of the hard palate. So these two imaginary lines, they divide norma basalis into anterior part, middle and the posterior part. Okay, the anterior part of the norma basalis, it consists of hard palate. You can see here, this is the hard palate, and alveolar arch. This is alveolar arch containing the upper teeth. So anterior part of the norma basalis consists of hard palate and alveolar arch, which contains the upper teeth. The alveolar process of the right and left maxillae, it contains upper teeth and it forms the superior alveolar arch. The superior alveolar arch. Anterior part of the norma basalis, it consists of following parts: the alveolar arch or the superior alveolar arch, then the hard palate, then we can see here the incisive fossa. Here we have two foramens, one is greater palatine, the other is lesser palatine foramen, and posterior nasal spine. Let us discuss about formation of the hard palate. Anterior 2/3 of the hard palate, it is formed by palatine process of the maxillae. Palatine process of the maxilla. That means it is formed from the maxillary bone. Maxillary bone has a process which is known as palatine process. So they form anterior 2/3 of the hard palate. Whereas the posterior 1/3, this pink color one you can see here, this is formed by horizontal plates of the right and left palatine bones. So anterior 2/3 of the hard palate, it is formed by the palatine process of the maxillae, whereas posterior 1/3 is formed by the horizontal plates of the right and left palatine bones. So articulation between the two palatine process of the maxillae, this is known as intermaxillary suture, and between the two horizontal plates of the palatine bone, this suture is known as interpalatine suture. So this is intermaxillary suture and this is interpalatine suture. And the articulation between the palatine process one side and the horizontal plate of palatine bone of the same side is by the palatomaxillary suture. That means between the anterior 2/3 of the hard palate and posterior 1/3 of the hard palate, we have one suture. This is palatomaxillary suture, because this is a part of maxillary bone and these are the parts of palatine bone. So this is palatomaxillary suture, this is interpalatine suture, and this is intermaxillary suture. So this alveolar process of the maxilla, it projects downwards and it gives attachment to the upper teeth. The posterior end of the each alveolar process, they form projection, backward projection, which is known as the maxillary tuberosity. So this area is known as the maxillary tuberosity. The posterior ends of the each arch of the alveolar process, they have a backward projection which is known as maxillary tuberosity. Now part of the alveolar process which contains incisor teeth, the part of the alveolar process which contains incisor teeth. So we have two central incisors and two lateral incisor teeth. So including the adjoining the palate, this one, this area, this is known as premaxilla. So part of the alveolar process containing the incisor teeth, both the central and the lateral incisor and maxilla, part of the maxilla, this is known as the premaxilla. This region is known as premaxilla. Okay. So the incisive fossa, it lies behind the central incisor teeth. You can see here, this is incisive fossa, where you see the lateral incisive foramina open into the lateral walls of the incisive fossa. So within the fossa you have foramens which are known as the lateral incisive foramina. So those foramina, lateral incisive foramina, they lead to form incisive canals, so which eventually pass to the nasal cavity. Then we have the zygomatic process of the maxilla, lateral to the alveolar arch. Zygomatic process of the maxilla. So this zygomatic process of the maxilla, lateral to the alveolar arch, so it passes laterally and it meets with the zygomatic bone. Okay, so this is about the various parts of the anterior part of the Norma basalis. So basically what you have to remember, that we have alveolar arch, we have hard palate which has been divided into anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3. Anterior 1/3 is formed by the horizontal plates of the palatine process of the maxilla, and posterior 1/3 it is formed by the horizontal plates of the palatine bone. We have intermaxillary suture, interpalatine suture and palatomaxillary suture. We have incisive fossa, and we have two foramens, greater palatine foramen, lesser palatine foramen. And you should know what is premaxilla, the area between the central and the lateral incisors and part of the maxilla is known as premaxilla. Okay, so in this diagram we can make out the alveolar process of the maxilla. This is the palatine process of the maxilla, and here we have horizontal plate of the palatine bone. Here we have incisive fossa which leads into incisive foramen. Then we have greater palatine foramen and lesser palatine foramen. Horizontal plates of the palatine bones, these two, the horizontal plates of the palatine bone, they form posterior 1/3 of the hard palate. So posterior border of the horizontal plates of the palatine bones, they are free and they form posterior margin of the hard palate. You can see here, they form posterior margin of the hard palate, and in the midline, the margin it projects backwards and it forms posterior nasal spine. So this is posterior nasal spine. So what you have to remember here, the horizontal plates of the palatine bone, the posterior border of the palatine bones is free, and in the midline you have a projection which goes backwards and it forms posterior nasal spine. So we can also make out in the front of the posterior border we see a curved ridge. This is known as palatine crest. Curved ridge is known as palatine crest. That is of least importance. So what you have to remember is this posterior nasal spine, posterior border of the hard palate, which is free, okay, and within this the horizontal plates of the palatine bone on the lateral aspect, we can make out the greater and lesser palatine foramina. So this we have discussed already. The sutures in the hard palate. This complete suture is known as the cruciform suture. The intermaxillary, interpalatine, the meeting point of this, because it is cross-like, the intermaxillary, interpalatine suture, and this is the palatomaxillary suture. So this is like a cross, so it is known as cruciform suture. So intermaxillary, you know, this is intermaxillary, and interpalatine, this is interpalatine suture, and this is palatomaxillary suture. Okay, so the dome arched in all direction, it shows pits. So these pits they are for the palatine glands. Okay, so the hard palate, it is not smooth, it has pits. So these pits are for the palatine glands. In this slide we can make out the incisive fossa. Deep to the fossa situated anteriorly, deep fossa, it is situated in the midline, and it leads into incisive canals or incisive foramina, which eventually leads into incisive canals. Two incisive canals we have, right and left. They pierce the wall of the incisive fossa, one on each side. Okay, so let us just look at the parts over here. So the maxilla we have here, the incisive fossa, the palatine bones we have, the palatine process, this is palatine process of the maxilla, and we have the intermaxillary suture. Okay, then we have, this is zygomatic process of the maxilla, this is zygomatic process of the maxilla, intermaxillary suture, these are the palatine process of the maxilla, and this is incisive fossa. So these are the parts of the maxilla actually. Then if you come to the palatine bone, this is horizontal plate of the palatine bone. So these the pink color one. So horizontal plate of the palatine bone, which has two foramina at the lateral aspect, greater palatine foramen, right, and here we have the lesser palatine foramen. Then we have the pyramidal process. Then we have the posterior nasal spine, which arch-like process I told you, that is pyramidal process at the posterior border of the hard palate. Then in the midline we have a projection which goes beyond, and this is known as posterior nasal spine. Okay, then we can see here the this is zygomatic bone, and we can make out part of the frontal bone here. So this is about the hard palate, which we can see here. So let me show you the foramina over here. Greater palatine foramen situated on each side, lateral part of the palatomaxillary suture, behind the lateral part of the palatomaxillary suture. Then we have lesser palatine foramina. They are 2 to 3 in number. They lie behind the greater palatine foramen. And we have posterior nasal spine, which is nothing but the posterior border of the hard palate. And we have palatine crest, curved ridge on the posterior border of the hard palate. So if you see anterior part of the Narma basalis, already we have seen the foramina over here. Lesser palatine foramen, it transmits lesser palatine nerves and the vessels, whereas greater palatine foramen, it transmits greater palatine vessels and the nerves. The palatine groove here, this is palatine groove, it is for the greater palatine artery. Okay, then we have incisive fossa, which transmits greater palatine artery and nasopalatine artery. Okay, let us discuss the Norma basalis, middle part of the Norma basalis. It extends from posterior border of the hard palate up to the anterior border of the foramen magnum. Okay, it extends from posterior border of the hard palate to the transverse line passing through the anterior border of the anterior border of the foramen magnum. Okay, so it is divided into two parts, a median area and a lateral area. Okay, so the median area, you can make out the vomer bone here. This is the vomer, and you can make out the pharyngeal tubercle, and you can make out two plates over here, the medial and lateral pterygoid plates. We see medial and lateral pterygoid plate. This is medial pterygoid plate and this is lateral pterygoid plate, and we have a fossa here. This is known as the pterygoid hamulus. Okay, or pterygoid fossa we see. Then these are the parts at the median area. These two plates are very important, you have to remember. So medial pterygoid plate, lateral pterygoid plate, the pterygoid fossa. Then we have the pharyngeal tubercle and the vomer bone. So this we have discussed already. The sutures in the hard palate. This complete suture is known as the cruciform suture. The intermaxillary, interpalatine, the meeting point of this, because it is cross-like, the intermaxillary, interpalatine suture, and this is the palatomaxillary suture. So this is like a cross, so it is known as cruciform suture. So intermaxillary, you know, this is intermaxillary, and interpalatine, this is interpalatine suture, and this is palatomaxillary suture. Okay, so the dome arched in all direction, it shows pits. So these pits, they are for the palatine glands. Okay, so the hard palate, it is not smooth, it has pits. So these pits are for the palatine glands. Let us discuss about the lateral area of the middle part of the Norma basalis. So we can see two parts of the sphenoid bone here, the pterygoid process and the greater wing of the sphenoid. So this is greater wing of the sphenoid, and we can make out this is pterygoid process. So pterygoid process has two plates. This is medial pterygoid plate and lateral pterygoid plate, and in between we have pterygoid fossa. Anterior border articulates with the palatine bone. You can see here the palatine bone. Okay, so these two plates are important, that we have the medial pterygoid plate and the lateral pterygoid plate, because they give attachment to the muscles of mastication. So in this slide we can make out this is posterior nasal spine, this is middle area, this is vomer bone, and we can see here the sphenoid bone and the basi occiput. So we can see here the plates over here. This is medial pterygoid plate and this is lateral pterygoid plate, and we have here the pterygoid fovea, okay, or the pterygoid fossa. Then we have here, this part is known as the scaphoid fossa, and where you can see this membranous lamina of cartilaginous part of the pharyngotympanic tube. Okay, then we can make out various foramina here. We will discuss about the foramina, but I will name those foramina. So we can see here, this is the foramen ovale, the foramen spinosum. Then we have here the carotid canal. We have here the stylomastoid foramen. This is jugular foramen, right? This is styloid process of the temporal bone. Then we can see here the opening to bony part of the pharyngotympanic tube, right? So this area is known as the petrous part of the temporal bone. So these are the few identification points at the lateral part of the Norma basalis. So sulcus tubae, what is sulcus tubae? We can make out, this is for the tubae means tube, a groove between the posterior medial margin of the greater wing of the sphenoid bone and petrous temporal bone. So where is the petrous temporal bone? This is actually the petrous temporal bone, and and the greater wing of the sphenoid. This is greater wing of the sphenoid, this complete bone. So between the greater wing of the sphenoid and the petrous temporal bone, we have a sulcus, a groove, which is known as the tubal sulcus or the sulcus tubae. For the it lodges the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube or the pharyngotympanic tube, that you should remember. Okay, this is sulcus tubae, remember. Let us discuss the Norma basalis, middle part of the Norma basalis. It extends from posterior border of the hard palate up to the anterior border of the foramen magnum. Okay, it extends from posterior border of the hard palate to the transverse line passing through the anterior border of the anterior border of the foramen magnum. Okay, so it is divided into two parts, a median area and a lateral area. Okay, so the median area, you can make out the vomer bone here. This is the vomer, and you can make out the pharyngeal tubercle. Let us discuss about posterior part of the Norma basalis. We have this median area which contains the foramen magnum. This is foramen magnum. Then we have external occipital crest, external occipital protuberance and external occipital crest, and we have the superior nuchal lines. We can see here, this is inferior and this is the superior nuchal line. This is superior nuchal lines and these are inferior nuchal lines. This is external occipital crest and this is external occipital protuberance, and this is foramen magnum. And what else we have here in the posterior part of the Norma basalis? We have occipital condyles. Okay, these occipital condyles they articulate with the facets present on the first cervical vertebra, that is atlas vertebra, to form atlanto occipital joint. Okay, we can make out again the styloid process of the temporal bone on either side. So these are the parts of the posterior part of the Norma basalis. Lateral area. Lateral area, what we have? We have the condylar part of the occipital bone, where we can see the lateral occipital condyles, and squamous part of the occipital bone. Then we have jugular foramen between the occipital and petrous temporal bones. So the jugular foramen, so this is jugular foramen, we can see here. So jugular foramen, it is present between the occipital and the petrous temporal bone. Okay, on either side. This is also the jugular foramen. And the styloid process of the temporal bone, already I have told you, this is the styloid process, and this is the mastoid process of the temporal bone. So lateral area of the Norma basalis, in the posterior part we have the condylar part of the occipital bone. We have one foramen here, this is condylar or the hypoglossal canal, we say. We have foramen magnum and we have jugular foramen, we have styloid process. Then we have the mastoid process. Here we can see between the styloid process and the mastoid process, we have stylomastoid foramen. This is external acoustic meatus. This is opening for the carotid canal, nothing but for the passage of internal carotid artery. Okay, and this is mastoid foramen and external occipital crest and external occipital protuberance. All these you have to remember, and moreover you have to see the real skull to understand these minute things. Okay, so in this slide we can make out this is posterior nasal spine, This middle area, this is vomer bone, and we can see here the sphenoid bone and the basiocciput. So we can see here the plates over here. This is medial pterygoid plate and this is lateral pterygoid plate, and we have here the pterygoid fovea, okay, or the pterygoid fossa. Then we have here, this part is known as the scaphoid fossa, and where you can see this membranous lamina of cartilaginous part of the pharyngotympanic tube. Okay, then we can make out various foramina here. We will discuss about the foramina, but I will name those foramina. So structures passing through the various foramina: incisive foramen, the greater palatine vessels and nasopalatine nerve. Greater palatine foramen, we have greater palatine vessels and anterior palatine nerve. Lesser palatine foramen, middle and posterior palatine nerves. Then foramen ovale, we have this is foramen ovale. Remember, it gives the passage of mandibular nerve, accessory meningeal artery, lesser petrosal nerve, and emissary vein. M stands for mandibular nerve, A stands for accessory meningeal artery, L stands for lesser petrosal nerve, E stands for emissary veins. M-A-L-E. Male structures, they pass through foramen ovale. So let us see some structures passing through these foramina. Foramen spinosum, structures passing through it are the middle meningeal artery and meningeal branch of mandibular nerve, also known as the nervus spinosus. Then you have this foramen canalis innominatus, which gives the passage of lesser petrosal nerve. Basically, it passes lesser petrosal nerve, it passes through the foramen ovale. But this is of least important, the canalis innominatus. But innominate means it doesn't have any name. Sometimes this lesser petrosal nerve, it passes through it. The foramen spinosum is important. Two structures: middle meningeal artery and meningeal branch of mandibular nerve, also known as the nervus spinosus, they pass through the foramen spinosum. Look at this is the small foramen. This is foramen spinosum actually. Okay, this is foramen ovale. So you can see here, this is actually interior of the skull. This is not, but outside also, if you see from the norma basalis, you make out these foramina. Okay, so when you pass a probe from inside, you see outside that probe is coming, and if you pass probes, the foramina which are located the norma basalis, they lead into the interior of the skull. The cribriform plate, where you have the olfactory nerves, optic canal for the optic nerve, the superior orbital fissure for the oculomotor nerve, trochlear, ophthalmic and abducens nerve. The foramen rotundum, we have the rotundum is for the maxillary nerve, and foramen ovale, I have told you already, the foramen ovale. Then we have interleucostic meatus, which gives the passage of facial nerve and vestibulocochlear nerve, and we have the jugular foramen for the glossopharyngeal 9th, 10th vagus nerve and 11th accessory nerve. They pass through the jugular foramen, and we have hypoglossal canal for the hypoglossal nerve. So these are the various foramina where you can see inside of the skull, in the interior of the skull, and also through the norma basalis also. Okay, when you come to college, I will show you all this foramina. So anterior bony aperture of the nose, also known as the pyriform aperture. So it is a prominent feature of the mid face. The shape of the anterior nasal aperture, it is pear shaped, wide below and narrow above. Okay, what are the boundaries of anterior nasal aperture? Above it is bounded by lower border of the foramen magnum, structures passing through the wider posterior part. We have lowest part of the medulla oblongata and three meninges, the dura mater, arachnoid mater and the pia mater. So along with that, you see the medulla oblongata passing through the posterior part of the foramen magnum, and through subarachnoid space, the spinal accessory nerves, vertebral artery, sympathetic plexus around the vertebral arteries, posterior spinal arteries, anterior spinal artery. So they pass through the foramen magnum. Through narrow anterior part, we have apical ligament of dense vertical band of cruciate ligaments and membrana tectoria. These are the structures passing through the foramen magnum. All these structures you have to memorize. The anterior part of the norma basalis, it consists of hard palate. You can see here, this is the hard palate, and alveolar arch. This is alveolar arch containing the upper teeth. So anterior part of the Norma basalis consists of hard palate and alveolar arch, which contains the upper teeth. The hypoglossal or anterior condylar canal, we can see here the hypoglossal nerve, its meningeal branch, and meningeal branch of ascending pharyngeal artery, emissary veins, they pass through this, and sometimes the sigmoid sinus and internal jugular vein. The internal jugular vein passes through jugular foramen, okay, but the hypoglossal and anterior condylar canal, you can see here the hypoglossal nerve, its meningeal branch and meningeal branch of ascending pharyngeal artery, they pass through this, okay.